Hello friends, acquaintances, and enemies of all ages, my name is Combat Bird, and this is Let's Get Physical, the series where I go over all of my favorite physics games from when I was a kid, or play the physics games that you all recommend to me. Today, we'll be going over Lugaru. What happens when you cross ridiculous dialogue, physics games, fighting, and anthropomorphic rabbits and wolves? One of the strangest games I've ever played. It was made almost single-handedly by a man named David Rosen, who produced it under his studio Wolfire Games back in 2005. It has since been re-released with an HD version in 2010. Keep in mind that I'll be using this version to play the game to ensure higher quality footage. Now you may be wondering, what is Lugaru? What's it like? What do you do? Well, it starts out pretty simple. The game opens with you playing as a rabbit named Turner, a pretty run-of-the-mill character, nothing particularly unique or interesting about him. The game directs you to run around and do various tasks for your village, talk to your friend, talk to your wife, go find out why your daughter is sitting up on the highest rock in the village, when suddenly you spot a newcomer on the outskirts of the area. You go to speak to him and, well, it goes something like this. Yeah, I'd say that about sums up this game in its entirety. You defeat this guy, and shortly after that, try to guess what happens. That's right, you guessed it. Everybody in the entire village is murdered. Your wife, your daughter. Holy hell, this game takes so many unexpected turns. We then follow Turner on his quest to find out who's responsible so that he can get that sweet, sweet rabbit revenge. The controls are pretty simple, but do take some time to get used to. You can do a light attack, a strong attack, a crouch attack, and then various maneuverability options like flips, wall jumps, and so on. There are also counters to parry incoming attacks, and 3 weapons that you can use during your battles. It may not sound like a lot, but it actually makes for a pretty decent fighting game. And as you saw with me getting kicked upside the head by a complete stranger, Lugaru has such completely ridiculous moments in dialogue that you have to see it to believe it. This includes things like simple puns such as your wife saying, "Hi, honey bunny," or telling your daughter that these tricks are for kids. But then it goes as far as to imply that one of the raiders that just destroyed your village also forcibly had sex with your wife? Jesus Christ, what is this game? Why does it have to take things so far? As you progress through the game, you encounter a small variety of enemies. You have your basic run-of-the-mill rabbits, but you also have some that hit harder and take much more damage, or ones that wield the weapons I mentioned earlier. I'd like to mention quickly that the weapons can be a little underbalanced. The sword, which I would consider a late-game weapon, felt virtually useless. Meanwhile, the starting knife will one-shot most enemies if you throw it at them. And then we have the bow staff. Dear Lord have mercy. This weapon is only powerful because if you hit someone once with it, it's the only weapon that lets you continue to hit them when they're on the ground. The last enemy type I wanted to talk about were the wolves. They can't wield any kind of weapons, but they're bigger, harder to kill, and will damn near one-shot you if you get within range. Couple this with the fact that you're usually fighting multiple of them at once, and they become a force to be reckoned with. Lugaru is a pretty fun game, and it is actually quite short all things considered. However, the game has some major pacing issues that can't be ignored. The game feels relatively easy, then all of a sudden it's hard as hell. These difficulty spikes can make a game that would normally only take an hour or two suddenly take so many more to complete. Overall, upon revisiting Lugaru with high hopes of having the immense amount of fun that I had when I was a kid playing it, I was disappointed by the awful story, random difficulty spikes, clunky movement controls that are only compatible with keyboard, and general lack of polish. For example, this level, which tends to be one of the more difficult ones, spawns the camera super far away every time you die to start over. Now, this is great for an epic camera shot, looks very nice, but you can still move your character around and you can't skip it. This results in lots of accidental running off the cliff, wasting time. However, I really can't blame a game that's now 12 years old and made almost entirely by a single person. It's certainly worth giving a shot, and I do believe that you can have a lot of fun with it. But with the $10 price tag it currently has on Steam, wait until it goes into another Humble Bundle or goes on at least a 50% sale before you pick it up. And one last thing I'd like to note is that Wolfire Studios has actually made a spiritual successor to Lugaru called Overgrowth. It just came out of early access recently and looks like such a fantastic improvement that I just know I absolutely have to play it for Let's Get Physical at some point. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know which game I should do next down in the comments below, and as always, have a wonderful rest of your day.